everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome back to my sewing room. It is finally time for the grand reveal of the Peppermint Bustle. So today I am going to take you through the Peppermint Bustle's layers and how I get dressed in them. And that includes a super quick and easy 1880s hairstyle, and then from the base layers on up, putting on the Peppermint Bustle itself. And then I'm going to go take some pictures and have some video and hopefully go to the seaside, or at least the Puget Sound side, and show you the Peppermint Bustle in action. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that the main reason that this hairstyle is going to be so easy is because it is designed to be worn under the hat. So there are areas that involve hair pieces that we don't really cover up the edges on this hairstyle because, again, this hat is going to be worn on top of my hairstyle at all times because this is a very outdoor bustle, and also because this is the 1880s, and let's be honest, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know that I kind of hate 1880s hairstyles, so I'm doing this once. I don't know that I'll do it again because 1880s hairstyles are so derpy. But if you want to be derpy too, this is what you need. So first, you're going to need a large chignon style hairpiece. If you are not familiar with how to make these, I've actually done a really short video just on how to make a chignon hairpiece. So I will link that up above and down below in the description. Super easy. Basically, you need a fake braid, and that is what is made into this. And then the other thing that you're going to need is a short curly hairpiece. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, what the curly part looks like because we're not really going to be using the curly part. I'm actually going to be using this upside down because what I want is the frizzy curly part. So I want this top ugly section right here, and I'm going to use this to make this into my bangs. So if you have a short frizzy curly hairpiece already that doesn't need to have the curls on it, then great, you're set, because that's what we want. We just want something that's like a bangs looking hairpiece that is nice and dense and is curly and can look derpy. So derpy upside down part of the hairpiece, that's what we're going to use. I also want a variety of pins, so I have both smaller bobby pin type pins, and then I also have some of my favorite wig pins. So you can use kind of anything. You can use large hair pins. The larger ones are better at holding like the large bun hairpiece into place, and the smaller ones you're just going to need for the rest of your hair. So again, this is going to be very easy. I am probably going to use the monitor a little bit as my mirror, though I do have a smaller stand mirror here, so you might see me looking at that sometimes as well. And let's go ahead and get started on this hairstyle. So we're going to start by making a base for our little curly section to pin into, as well as a base for the large bun in the back of the head to pin into. And to do that, we're going to do a few pin curls. So pin curls are little sections of hair that you pull up and twist like this, and then you coil like that, and you slide bobby pins across them. And that is done so that you can then use that as an anchor point for whatever hairpiece or like wig, for example, too, that you are going to put on your head. So I'm just doing 2 in front. This also serves to get my own hair out of the way here. Now, these hair pieces don't exactly match my hair color because that is the problem of being a fake redhead. You wind up having different shades of your hair all the time. So I have a lot of hair pieces in various different colors. These are not quite a match right now, but they're a pretty close match to each other is the point. And that's okay because my hair really is going to be out of the way for this. So now that we have those pin curls right there set, we also want to have some pin curls for the back bun. But I want to check the placement of the back bun first so that I know where it's going on my head in relation to the hat. So the hat is going to sit pretty much just right here at the top of the head. It's going to be on top of that curly hair piece, but that means that the bun needs to be lower. It needs to be farther down, no higher than about where my finger is here. So to get the hairpiece in the right place, I want a pin curl that's just under this area. And really, this is such a large hairpiece that I kind of want 2 pin curls. So I am going to just make some pin curls right here. Perfect. So now we've done all of our pin curls, we basically just want the rest of the hair to get out of the way. So I am going to part it in the back just so that it's kind of into 2 sections like that. And I'm actually going to incorporate it up after I put on the hair pieces. So the first bit is we want to make our derpy bangs. So again, we're using the wrong side. We're using the base side of this hairpiece right here. And we are going to position this so that it is relatively low on the forehead because their bangs were relatively low. So it's just about there. So this is a half hairpiece. It's one that I actually cut in half to use for 1830s and 1840s stuff with the little side puppy curls, and you've seen this also in my Regency video if you've seen that video. And so I really don't have a base that I'm going to be attaching to the pin curls. It's the curls themselves that I'm going to be attaching to the pin curls because the base is providing the bangs section. So that base is really kind of just going to lay on my forehead, and then I'm going to pull the curls up like so. That looks like a good placement. I'm going to pull those curls up, and I'm just going to pin relatively haphazardly, but into those pin curls that I made. You want to secure the curls that are kind of in the middle of the hairpiece so that they don't fall down in the middle of your face. On the other hand, the curls that are on the side are actually going to help hold your bangs in place. So these curls are going to get kind of pinned to the side over here. Once you have brought them over to the side, you do want them out of the way though. But again, you're pulling them to the side and pinning them instead of pinning them on the top of your head. Okay, so everything in the front feels secure, the bangs feel like they're in place, and they feel like they're at a pretty good level as well. And if you look at it with the hat, this is the kind of look that we are going for here. So lots of curly frizzy bangs right across the head there. So now we can move on to the back of the hair. So for the back of the hair, we're going to take our chignon piece and we are going to place it so that the top is just about even with those pin curls, so that it's just over the top of those pin curls. And we're going to secure it with the large wig pins. You can slide these wig pins in, going like this and then going under, and you'll get right into those pin curls. We probably could have done another pin curl right down here at the bottom for a little bit more security because there's not really anything to pin into. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and add that pin curl. Now I can pin this. And just like that, with 3 pins, that's really quite secure. So now we can go ahead and get the rest of our hair out of the way. What you kind of want is a little bit of a poof right here to the side and bottom. So I am just going to pull my hair up kind of loosely and twist it a little bit just so it holds together, and then pin it around the top of the bun. And do that on the other side as well. Ideally, you want a little bit of body and or curl in your hair as you do this, just so that you get some of that poof back there. But I don't know that it's worth actually curling your hair for. If you have like a crimping type hair, you know, heated tool, that might help you get a little bit more body, because it's not going to stay if it's stick straight. And also ideally you want little like curly frizzy bits down here at the base of your neck. You could actually curl this with a very tiny curling iron if you don't naturally have any. I kind of have some natural frizz there, so that's gonna work for me. But this is already our hairstyle done. Let's try on the hat to make sure. My bun is just a squidge high, probably half an inch, but I think with hat pins that is going to secure just fine. So now you would take hat pins and run that through, but of course we can't put our hat on yet because we have to go get dressed. But this is the idea of the hairstyle. And if I'm honest, I don't hate it. As far as adapting this hairstyle to one that can be worn without a hat on top, it's really not that different. Ideally, you want a hairpiece that completely matches your hair. So that's number one, because as you can see, mine don't. The hairpieces are a little lighter than my hair. So that would be number one. Number two is you want to blend a little bit better. So like right now, my hairpiece and my hair, besides being a different color, you can kind of see the edges of the hair pieces, particularly up here where this one just kind of stops. Honestly, like hairstyles in this period did kind of do lump of curl bang section and then stopped, but it would have been pulled back a little bit over something. So if you put like a rat or something up there and you're a little bit better about hiding your bobby pins, then that would probably work just as well. And you could take this very easily from a hairstyle to be worn with a hat to a hairstyle to be worn without a hat. But for now, let's go get dressed. To begin with, I'm wearing American Duchess stockings in the red colorway and Phantasma Dame boots. Now, normally I would want to wear American Duchess shoes with these too, probably, but I'm going to be walking on a beach for pictures today, and these are already stained with sand. So these are actually my very old pair. I do have a newer pair that don't look so gray, but I do highly recommend these boots. They are quite affordable and available on Amazon, and I will link to them below, and they're very comfortable as well. Besides the American Duchess stockings and the Phantasma boots, the other base layers that I'm wearing are pantalettes, which would have actually been split crotch drawers, but I don't like split crotch drawers, and also a chemise and the corset. The corset is from De Gracious, however you pronounce that, which was a magazine, and it was a pattern diagram that I sized up. I am thinking about doing a video in the future about sizing up from one size diagrams to plus sizes. So if that's something that you are interested in, please do let me know. And this corset is very comfortable. It is made out of home deck fabric on the outside, the pink fabric, and then canvas on the inside, and it is boned with synthetic whalebone. Over the corset goes a corset cover. Mine is actually from Old Navy from several years ago, and it just buttons up the front and helps to smooth the lines of the corset. Next up is the lobster tail bustle. This lobster tail bustle was made from a pattern on American Duchess, which I will link down below. And it has been with me for a very long time, but it is nice and sturdy with steel hoop wire in the inside. On top of that, since this is the 1880s and 1880s liked very large bustles, we have a bustle pad. I mentioned this bustle pad in another video, but I drafted this myself, and I find that it does a really great job of really giving you that bustle shelf. For the 1880s, I love how a quilted petticoat really helps to fill out that silhouette. Honestly, it's good for the 70s too. For this time of year, it is nice and warm, and also does a really nice job of keeping your skirts the shape that they are meant to be. This is made out of matelas fabric from Joann's. Now we're ready for the skirt. I will link the videos on the making of this skirt if you have not already seen them. They are also part of the playlist for the Peppermint Bustle. Next up is the overskirt. I have now added the bows. I know in the last video you didn't get to see the bows on, but I have added those on, and they are just kind of tacked in place. And then one of the bows, this one, because it is over the closure, I also put a hook on the bow and a thread loop on the skirt itself, And that way I can keep it right over the opening. See how it's flopping? And then I can hook it in place so that it doesn't flop. Now it's time for the bodice. The bodice goes on with very, very many hooks and eyes and bars. First, it hooks up the center front, and then this section flaps over, gets tucked up into the top, and hooks into place. Then this flap closes over the edge. And that is the outfit itself. Now we can go ahead and put on the accessories. First, the hat. When putting on your hat, it's very important to make sure that your hat pins go through pieces of your hairpiece so that it's better held in place and there's not very much wobbling. Next, we have gloves. These are vintage gloves and I love wearing them. And finally, we accessorize with a reticule, which, yes, I just happen to have a red velvet reticule already. And for the seaside, of course, a parasol. And we're ready to go out and take some pictures. some final thoughts on this project. Overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I do think the hat is like a little much, but still good, and I think it goes with the whole ensemble. I did wind up losing one of the feathers out of the feather arrangement. Luckily, I caught it as it was coming out and we stuck it back in the hat band. So that's something that I'm going to have to test to see why that feather wasn't secure, and hopefully all of the rest of the feathers are secure, and I will have to figure out how to get it back in the arrangement because I thought everything was secure. So that will be one thing. The only other things that I noticed are that the back of the bodice tended to wrinkle up here if I moved, and I'm not really sure how or why it's riding up like that, but it might be something that I want to put a hook in the waist of the bodice to the waist of the skirt to keep that down. I think that would really help, maybe even a few hooks, and I think that would really alleviate any of that issue there. And then the one other thing, it's also a hook thing, is right around here-ish, one of these, it seemed like it wanted to separate a little bit more. I think it was like this one. So an intermediate hook between the hooks, that would probably be really helpful as well. But overall, everything else I'm very happy with. The one worrisome thing that I have about this entire project is that I don't know how evident it is, but there is some pink or some red bleeding into the white up here in particular. And I believe that it might be that one of these ribbon type pieces is not color fast, and it's actually like when it's rubbing on things, it's getting pink. So that's worrisome and something I'm going to have to address because I don't know how to fix that. So just something I'm gonna probably have to keep my eye on. But overall, I'm very happy with how this whole project turned out. Also, that beach that we went to, I didn't know that that was there. So that was such a wonderful, happy accident. I literally put in Google Maps beach and it came up as the first result. And oh my God, it's gorgeous. And I was so thrilled to find that beautiful spot. And I had Emily of the Sucky Seamstress helping me take all of those pictures and video. And it was so kind and wonderful of her to do that. And wow, we're going back because that was just lovely. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoyed this video and this Peppermint Bustle project as a whole. If you liked this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up icon. And if you'd like to see more videos like this from me, please go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. I do post videos here on YouTube twice a week with my sewing vlogs on Tuesdays and regular costuming content like this out on Saturdays, but I post every day over on my Instagram, so please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Lady Rebecca Fashions. And if you would like to support me and all of the work that I do on this channel, I do have a link to both my Patreon and my Ko-fi accounts down below. I would also like to take this moment to thank Heidi, my wonderful Edwardian level patron, for really helping me to produce all of this great content along with the rest of my fantastic patrons. So once again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Happy sewing!